Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and place to be, it's Debsy. Bloop, bloop, that's me. Boop, Debsy. Hey guys, and happy Monday. I hope everybody had a great day. Today is my first day off on vacation, and it is kicking off in a fantastic manner because last night I was watching TV with my mom. We were watching the Olympic swim trials for the USA team for on the Olympics. And I went to sit down and right up in here, not on my back, but on my back, I don't know, like up here, it just gave out, I don't know if I pulled something or what. But turning my neck around and moving my head around does not feel that great on this side. So I don't know. My week off, maybe me in some pain. So I don't know. Cross your fingers and say prayers that it gets better, because it feels better than it did last night, but it still doesn't feel great. But the last night I did not watch Real Housewives of New Jersey. I watched it today, so we're gonna get right into it. We're going to discuss Real Housewives of New Jersey from last night. So let's do it. Okay, so they picked up this week where they left off last week with the Fudas exiting their discussion with Teresa and Louis. And they get outside. Before they get outside, Teresa, John and Rachel are like, I am going to leave their gift. Remember, Teresa was like, we brought this gift for you to give to my brother for the housewarming, and the Fudas were like, we're not taking that. And John Fuda was like, no, he's not going to want that. So they leave it there, and I believe it was John who was like, it was either John or Rachel who had said that Teresa's apology, I think it was Rachel, they said Teresa's apology was backhanded, which it was. It wasn't, I could see where he would say it wasn't a sincere apology, because it was more of like, I'm sorry if you felt like I was saying that you're a drug dealer now. Rather than being like, I'm sorry that I said that, I should have checked out what was said, and I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. So I can see where it was a backhanded, underhanded kind of apology. And Rachel had said, did you notice that Louis didn't talk at all? And she had said she thinks it was to so that Teresa could dig herself in further. I don't think that was the case. I think Louis is the kind of guy who, he's a big talker. He talks big in front of people. He talks big behind the scenes, but then once he gets out in front of people, he's like, he doesn't have anything to say. He's a big mouth. I don't know. I don't like Louis. I never liked him, and I don't like him. Oh, and also, whenever they were saying money launderer, your money launderer, if I need somebody to launder my money, I know who to go to. And Teresa was like, that was my husband. That's not me, which I'm not going to say anything. So after that, they went to Danielle's. Listen, I'm going to say there wasn't that much to talk about with Danielle, but I'm going to tell you this much. If Danielle's daughter, Valentina, has a little bit of a sass, a little bit of an attitude, you know who did that to her? That's Danielle letting her do whatever she wants to do. I'm just saying. Also, they went up to get the kids up to go to school, and did they share one room? And was Valentina sleeping in a cubby hole? They have to have their own rooms. You're gonna tell me that princess doesn't have her own room? Because listen, this princess, she did have her own room. I had my own room. Well, 3 of my brothers were shoved into a room that was the size of a closet in bunk beds. Okay. Is that right? No. Did I love it? Sure did. All right. But I'm going to tell you, listen, when I was growing up, if I didn't want to do something, my mother would be like, I don't care, you're going to do it and you're going to like it. Or I'm going to tell your father. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay. Next they went over to Melissa and Joe Gorga's new house. They're talking about the housewarming party. Melissa's saying, listen, I want this to be a classy party. Good luck with Joe. Once Joe and the guys get around each other, it's always a dirty frat party when they get together. Okay, next it was Dolores, Gabby, Dolores' daughter, and her mom, Nana. They were over at Polly's house. They were talking. They're talking about Frank's dog, Lolly. It's so sad. She has a tumor on her aorta. There's really nothing that they can do, so they're giving her medication to make her comfortable. I felt so bad about that. Here's the thing. When they flashed over to Dolores telling Polly about this, I don't know. His reaction, there's something about Paul. There's something about Paul that's not right. I didn't like that reaction. I might be the only one who saw that and was like, what's that reaction? I mean, it's bad. You couldn't have a better reaction. So Gabby, so then they're talking about, Frank proposing to Brittany, and the topic of waiting came up. And Gabby was like, speaking of waiting, and she was looking at her mom. Wasn't Nana like, what? You're talking to her? Oh, I didn't understand any of that. That went over my head. So listen, I'm with Nana and I'm with Gabby, because she had said, her mom was like, how long have you two been going together? Like 2.5 years. He'd been separated for like 10-12 years. It's time to move this divorce along. It's time. I had read in comments somewhere else that I guess in Ireland it takes longer to get a divorce. It shouldn't take that long. I mean, come on. And then he's talking about how the way that you really move on and you really show that you want to be together for the long haul is you get into business. And Dolores had mentioned how they're going to get into business for doing electrical. Like, Dolores doesn't do electrical. Polly is an electrician, but he has electricians. And listen, Nana was right. You have a right to know what is your future, what's going to be in for your future. Like, is there going to be a divorce? Because if there's not, you need to get out now. I've said this last week. I always looked at Dolores as like the smartest lady in this show. And she didn't take any shit. Dolores from Patterson don't take no shit. Dolores has taken too much of the shit. And she's not worried about business so much as she's worried about her relationship. She said she doesn't want to look stupid. The longer you hang in with this guy, I don't think it's going to get better. There's something about him that just doesn't hit me right. I'm with Nana and I'm with Gabby. So Margaret and her husband Joe, they're talking at home. They're talking about how, she wasn't at the bougie brunch. So she was told, what was going on. She's talking about like just how crazy it is that now all of a sudden Jackie is running to Teresa and talking to Teresa about Margaret. And she thinks it's crazy because of, like, given all of the past problems that they had, and how Jackie had always said, she wants nothing to do with her, and now all of a sudden she does, which I understand. There's also part of me that is thinking, like, is she worried that Jackie is going to go out and like spill secrets to her? You never know. Personally, I think Jackie is cozying up to Teresa to try and get it back on full time. That's what I think. You can't convince me otherwise that she's not, because that's what I think she is. I think she's desperate to get back on. So Jennifer Aydin's talking with her husband. She said she's going to be going to the housewarming. She said it's gonna be awkward with Joe there, with like Joe Gorga. Like, is he gonna talk to her? What's gonna happen? Well, then they start talking about Danielle at the bougie brunch being like, hey, if we're friends, why are you letting somebody shit talk me? And Jennifer Aydin was like, I wasn't shit talking her. Or Lena wasn't, Lena, who, you know, the hairstylist that was there, she said, well, Lena wasn't shit talking her. She was just telling the facts as she knows them from the event that happened. And Jennifer then had said that, I thought this was rich, that Danielle has an elitist attitude. Let me say that again. Jennifer Aydin says Danielle has an elitist attitude. Because Jennifer Aydin has never had an elitist attitude. All right, okay. But I will say this: to me, I don't know. In her second season, she is getting a little more like rarefied air up here. Danielle is, but if this whole thing is true with Danielle kicking Lena out of the VIP area because she's a hairdresser and she's not a housewife, I think that's shitty. I think that's shitty, especially if she opened up her salon for you, she did everything and that for you, and then she bought these tickets. If that's the case and she treated her shitty, she treated her like less than, I think that is shitty. So it's time for the housewarming party. The Gorgas are having the housewarming party. The theme is like an Italian limoncello. I enjoyed the theme. I liked it a lot. People walked in, they got a limoncello shot, and everybody was told to dress in yellow and very light and airy. I liked it. Honestly, I think their house is beautiful. It's kind of a little sparse. I mean, but I get that they like a minimalist, light decor. I appreciate that. I would rather have something like their house than something big and ginormous, like, I don't know, like Teresa's or like Jennifer Aydin's is ridiculous. Like, her house looks like a mini Mall of America, and it doesn't look like it has that much furnishing in it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people on social media are like, it is one ugly house. I didn't think so. I really enjoyed the theme of it all. And when I walk in and there's that, seriously, they had that prosciutto hanging, I can guarantee you, I would have been drinking all the limoncello and I would have been eating all that prosciutto hanging up. You can guarantee that I would be scarfing down on all of that. So everybody shows up, everybody's having a good time. Rachel goes over and talks to Melissa about how her and her husband had met Teresa and Teresa, what's his name, and Louis. Now listen, for people who say that Teresa should be gone, see, here's the thing. I don't hate Teresa. I don't love Teresa. I'm in the middle, because the way I look at it, if Teresa wasn't there, I don't know that some of the people would have a lot to talk about. You know, I mean, Teresa does give them a storyline. Is that me saying that I really like Teresa? No. Listen, I'm like Dolores on this. I'm Switzerland. Like, there's things about her that I just do not like. And I can't say that there's things that I like about her, but I can't say that there's things, I can say there's things that I don't like about her. I mean, I guess I would lean more towards maybe like not being that big of a fan. But I will say, I mean, for some people, if it wasn't for her, they would not have a storyline. I'm just saying. That's it. Don't come for me, but that's all I'm saying. So she's talking about that, and then she brings up the fact that they had said to her, "Here's this bottle. Can you give it to my brother for his housewarming?" She says how we didn't think you would want it. We left it there. And Melissa says, "That's right. I don't want it. I don't want anything from them." And who knows? And then to the producer, she was like, "Who knows? Who knows if they put an air tag on it or a bug or something like that?" She's like, "I don't want that negative energy in my house." So it seems to me like Melissa is holding up her side of the bargain by just not really talking that much about them. So okay, they left the bottle there. They left the blue, what was it called? The blue label from Teresa. They left it there. Here comes Dolores. Dolores is walking in. "Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's such a beautiful house. I love it. Everything looks gorgeous." And what is she carrying in but the blue bottle? And Rachel's like, "What?" And Melissa's like, what are you bringing in with this blue bottle? As it turns out, Dolores had gotten a call from Teresa saying, "They left this at the restaurant. I want you to bring it over to them." And she says that Dolores says that Teresa had said she got it for Joe. She wants Joe to have this. So she wants Joe to have this. So they give it to Joe, and Joe was like, I guess it was their father liked, that was their father's favorite drink, was this blue label. So he gets it, and he's starting to get a little worked up about it. And Melissa sees that, and she's like, "Listen, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put this in with the other bottles, and I'll take the card. You can read this whenever you want to read this," which I thought was a good thing. Rather than getting him like all worked up, just take it away, put it over here. He can look at it whenever like no one's around. But the damage was already done. And he was, talking about like how I, when she introduced me to him, I had his back, and I stuck up for him, and they showed, them in the past talking, and Joe giving his blessing for them to get married, and everything was good until it wasn't. And he had said, "Listen, this isn't an olive branch. An olive branch to me would have been if she would have come over, knocked on the door when when the cameras weren't on, and talked." I think, listen, I think that's true. I think she could have, if she wanted to talk, she could have just done it whenever the cameras weren't on and made a thing of it. However, I'm pretty sure there were probably times when the Gorgas had maybe done a similar thing, like maybe lived out some drama, waited until the cameras were rolling to live out some drama. So, but I can't say he's wrong. So he ended up taking the card and throwing it in the fire, and he was like, "That's it, we're done. There's no turning back now." And I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. That's all I'm saying. Over at Teresa's house, they said Gia is looking at moving out to live with her boyfriend, Christian. They've been dating for 5 years, so that sounds about good. Teresa says before she got married, she did not live with Joe, but she did live with Louis before they got married. She thinks it's best that you live with someone first to see what it's like living with them before you commit to marriage. I agree. Listen, so that you can save a lot of heartache, I agree with that. Well, then they start talking about Danielle, because she was cooking, Teresa was cooking with her ingredients, and she had on like this oven mitt. And one oven mitt said his, one oven mitt said hers. And she said, oh, I got this from Danielle. And they started talking about Danielle. She said, you know, she was talking about Danielle being friends with people that she no longer talks to, you know, like her sister-in-law, Margaret. And she didn't feel like, she wasn't going to tell, she's not going to tell Danielle who to be friends with. But Gia was like, yeah, just so long as they're not talking shit on you and she's not playing both sides. And then Teresa, once again, had said she really wanted her brother to have the gift, which, if you're so over him, why did you want him to have the gift? That doesn't make much sense. So Jackie shows up, Desperate Jackie shows up, and some of the ladies, including Jackie, are talking about Rachel and Teresa's meeting. And Rachel gets pretty heated when she mentions what Teresa had said about Jaden's biological mom. Like, rather than, like, the only two people who know the story about Jaden's biological mom is Rachel and John. So why does Teresa have to talk on something she doesn't even know? And I get that. Jackie is then saying to Jackie says to Jen Fessler, I've never seen somebody hate someone so much. Like, I've never known somebody to hate somebody this much. Like, she's saying about how Rachel hates Teresa so much. Think back in your memory bank. Think back in your memory bank, Jackie. Because there have been times when it came off like you really hated that woman, Teresa. So I guess now that you need to get back on the show full time, you're forgetting about that. All right. Jennifer Aiden kind of sticks up for Teresa. And previously in the episode, Jennifer Aiden had said that Teresa was okay with her going to the housewarming as long as she didn't talk any shit about her. As long as she didn't talk about her at all, she was fine. Jennifer Aiden kind of stuck up for Teresa a little bit and said that John Fuda should have just accepted the apology. Jackie then comes out and says, well, did you go into this meeting with Margaret and Melissa in your ear? And Rachel was like, no, because if they were in my ear, I absolutely would not have gone. So she's basically saying, like, well, you had them in your ear saying you're gonna go, but don't accept the apology. You better not accept the apology. So Rachel then says that she wishes that she would have, after the meeting, she wishes she would have just said, hey, listen, I'm going to pull Teresa away so just you and Louie can talk together. I think that would have been better because Louie was being quiet. He may have been able to like calmly discuss this, possibly. So I don't know. I thought that was a good idea though. So Dolores then goes back to Margaret and tells her what Jackie had said about Margaret and Melissa being in Rachel's ear the whole time. So Margaret gets real pissed off, goes over, talks to Jackie about how she said that, listen, there's not going to be any amends being made between the Fudas and Teresa and Louie because she has Margaret and Melissa in her ear telling her that you better not make up. So Melissa says, listen, I love you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you for making up with Teresa and talking to her. And then Jackie comes out and says, well, at the brunch, you tried to make a big deal, and you tried to make a problem out of this secret conversation that we had. And Melissa was like, do you mean that secret conversation that is in your book? And Jackie was like, the book wasn't published yet. She's like, yeah, but you came on my podcast and you talked about it. And supposedly what it was is she went on the podcast and talked about this. And it's in the book where she says that Teresa was the one that caused her to relapse. So, I mean, I don't know how she could make a big deal about it. It's in the book, like it's in print. So then after that, Jackie and Margaret are talking. Jackie says that Margaret's out there talking like she's the one that got her the book deal. Like she's the reason why she has a book deal. And that Margaret is upset is just upset with her because she's friends with Teresa now. Jackie got real messy then. I mean, Margaret was just talking to her. She just got it escalated quickly. She got real messy real quick and then just left. So Margaret then goes over, talks to Dolores, and tells her, hey, listen, Jackie was after the baseball game, charity baseball game. Jackie was like real mad that you didn't tag her in any of the pictures for the baseball game. Like she was pissed, and she was pissed. She was talking shit on you. So Dolores goes over, confronts Jackie. Meanwhile, Margaret's over there, send her a screenshot. The screenshot said that Jackie called Dolores a fucking slob. So she goes over and Dolores confronts Jackie about it. Meanwhile, Margaret is sending this screenshot over to Dolores. Dolores is like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm reading something about my dog. And she's like, what about this text where you call me a fucking slob? Oh, here comes backtracking Jackie talking about, but I didn't call you. She's like, I got it right here. She's like, well, I mean, that's not the worst thing that somebody could call you. I mean, backtracking. So then Jackie then tries to turn it around and is like, well, you should know that Margaret is talking very badly about you and Paul. Dolores wasn't falling for that. Dolores was like, well, she didn't say anything to me. And who was it? Jackie said, oh, well, she didn't put it in writing. Dolores says, that's right. She's smart. She's smarter than you. So calling her a slob. Who are you calling Dolores Catania a slob? So that was where they left it. Okay, no, that's not where they left it. I apologize. Danielle and Jennifer Aiden talk. Jennifer said basically like, listen, I didn't stand up for what Lena said because I didn't. If that's how you acted, I don't like it. Which I agree. If somebody's gonna act like that, I wouldn't want to stand up for that either. I mean, friend or not, you don't treat somebody that way. And Danielle had said that it wasn't the fact she had her thrown out of the VIP area, not because of like she is a hairdresser, but she was like, it was a VIP area. I had to have her escorted out or thrown out because of security. It was like a charity for kids with cancer. So she just wanted, people who were on the show there. And she also had said that Lena brought in Laura, who last year read all kind of stories. And she didn't want like a bunch of bloggers there who were going to ruin the experience. So I don't know I don't know who to believe on that. I don't know. And Jennifer Aiden and Joe Gorga, they talked. So, and it was like very, like real quick talking. And it was a little awkward, but it could have been worse. So let me know what you thought of this week. I'm going to tell you, they need to retool this show. It's getting kind of terrible. So let me know in the comments what you thought if you watched. If nobody told you yet today, listen, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. Please take care of one another. Number 1, please be aware of your surroundings. Number 2, please stay safe. I love you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Wish me luck with my back. Bye, guys.